This episode was brought to you by Autograph Events, our sponsor.
Come take my hand, I will walk with you. I won't let go till you say so. There isn't anything I wouldn't do. Wanna make sure that you understand.
Thank you for tuning into the Crody Files. I'm Craig Bryson.
And I'm Jodie Mears.
And together, we are the Crody Files.
In this episode, episode 3, we are going to talk about, is it time to move on? The Administrative Assistant's Guide to Job Searching.
Without you, there is no tomorrow. Without you, there is no tomorrow.
Right, is it time to move on?
Yeah.
Gosh, this is a tricky one.
It is difficult because you can be in a job and be comfortable because you're happy with the team, you're happy with everything else. When's a good time to move on?
I think it's like fueled by an event or something happening.
Yeah. And also about money because cost of living is rising.
It could be prompted by internal and external events for your life, within the company. There needs to be a catalyst because not everyone who's happy within their role suddenly thinks, oh, is it time to move on?
Yeah.
What do I do now? Well, you might, but...
Yeah.
But it's usually fueled by a bit of an injustice in the company or something's happening at home where you think, right, I've got to spring into action. I cannot tolerate this salary anymore. What do I need to do to get my life moving? How can I support my living expenses? What do I need to do now? So I think it's always prompted by something happening or problems at work.
You're not getting on well with your boss or with the team you're in.
Toxic environments, awful, been there.
Yeah. You always say, I'm not interested in office politics, but you always get drawn into it. It's something that's like...
Well, office politics is one thing. A toxic office is a completely different thing, which can really bear down on your
when
personal
you get up
well-being.
in the morning, you want to be able to go, I'm looking forward to getting to work and seeing Jodie, or, you don't want to be like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed. I can call in sick. I just don't, energy on that motivation is just, I have,
It's horrible,
It's horrible. You end up crying and it's like, well, what am I doing?
You spiral, don't you?
Yeah, totally.
You spiral into a bit of a depression, anxiety every day, especially if something is going on.
Yeah.
We've had quite a lot of input and questions.
Coming in on us.
Yeah, personal questions as well. This is happening to me at work. What do you think? What should I do? People in that situation really need guidance.
They do.
And I know I did when I was in a toxic workplace, and it was just awful.
Yeah.
And not knowing what to do when. Can I get out of here? Is it the right time? And it's almost like a scale, go up and down. You think.
The pros and cons. Why am I staying? That's how I've worked in the past. It's like, okay, here's all the pros, here's all the cons. And if you see there's so many cons, you're like, oh, yeah, it's time to move on.
Yeah. Is it affecting my mental health?
That's why you have first aiders and you also have mental first aiders.
Yeah, I'm a mental health.
No, I didn't know that.
I'm a mental health first aider. It's such a big topic and a massive eye-opener to recognise, have that empathy for the people you're working with.
And if you've been through it, you understand what they are going through.
Definitely.
And,
I think most of our peers and our administrative community would have experienced some form of toxic workplace, having boundaries breached or worse, where you think, I need to get out of here, but I don't know how. So we're going to cover recognising when it's time to move on and a light-hearted, top-level overview of job searching, because, again, it's very personal.
Yeah. And also it's our knowledge of our experiences over the last 40 years between us. So, this is not set in stone. This is just something that we have been through and we wanted to share the knowledge with you. So in your position, what would you look at first? Would you talk to HR or would you just say, okay, this is too toxic. I don't want HR to get involved.
My goodness. There's just so many things that have happened. And one thing I can say without going into too much detail and, bringing out some skeletons is know that it all works out in the end.
Yeah.
You're not going to be stuck in that vicious cycle, and some of it can be really vicious, mentally draining, hugely toxic. There is an end to it. but you have to decide when that end comes, and it comes from you.
And don't put your head in the sand and say, "Oh, it will resolve itself naturally." It won't.
No, I hope they might leave. Yeah. Sometimes you've got to be the one who says, bye.
Yeah. I'm going to take the first step, and this is what I'm going to do.
Definitely. So that aside, let's just assume that something awful hasn't happened and you're just wondering, when is it time to move on? I've always said to myself, loyalty doesn't pay.
Yeah.
Because I've been in roles and situations before where I've, spent years and years of my life.
Yeah. With those people.
With almost like your head in the sand to the outside world to an extent.
Where uncomfortable.
Where you're going through the mill of, every month, you're living month to month or whatever, you're having a nice life, you enjoy your work. But you're totally oblivious to the outside world of the market rate of your role at the moment.
Yeah.
What's happening outside of your organisation and what's out there for you.
Yeah.
As a horizon, as a goal for you to get to.
And you deserve it. Your future self is going to ask, why the hell haven't you just come out and just started this?
Do you want it? You've got to have that conversation.
You have to have the passion for it.
Yeah, you have to have a conversation with yourself. What do I want? And that's the most hardest question to ask yourself is, what do I want? It doesn't matter what everyone else wants and I'm just helping them be the best they can. What do you want for yourself?
Yeah. But something from my experience, I always saw, I don't think I could do it. I don't think, what happened? I know everything here, but if I go there, I won't know anything. And I think it's that daunting fear of I'm going to fail. And therefore, but I'm good in this position now. I don't want to go out my comfort zone and my bubble. Everybody put myself in the bubble.
It's difficult to come out of the bubble.
Yeah.
But once you come out of your comfort zone.
Eyes opened and everything's amazing.
They say the magic happens on the other side of your comfort zone, which means you've got to be very uncomfortable for a little while before you see and feel the benefits of your action.
I agree.
So I would say don't put up with anything for too long. If something awful has happened, get advice, get help, get support. You might want to do some coaching. You might want to do some therapy to get that confidence back in yourself because these workplaces can really bash you down. They can bring you down so many levels. I've been there. Don't worry. There is light as long as you initiate the light switch.
And even if there isn't anything toxic there, have a look at the job websites and seeing what other EAs in your position and your level, what are they getting and how are they achieving more money than you? So have a look around, even if you don't want to just have a browse. And then that will start giving your mental thing, oh, if I had that position, I could do this and this. And that will start growing that seed of confidence.
But understand what your drivers are. Exactly. Is it financial?
Yeah.
Is it personal growth?
Or is it travel because it's too far to go in?
Commute, but what are your drivers? What is driving you to make this change and understand, is it time to move on? Once you understand your inner thoughts and put that down into something
tangible,
clear and tangible, I think going from there really helps. So what is it that you're looking for? For me, I always wanted to know the next steps. When I had that feeling of, am I really going to sit here for the next 25 years, 30 years doing the same thing?
Am I going to retire? Yeah.
It's a bit of an epiphany moment where you think, wow, I could literally be sitting in the same seat until I retire.
Yeah.
Am I happy with that?
Well, some people are.
Some people are.
Yeah.
Some people aren't. They want more. They want to see, they want to achieve. Yeah. They want to do something. And it's not by any means a negative thought if you just want to do your job, stay in the same company for 35 years, get your pension and go.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people like that and that's what works for them. That's fine. For me, I always wanted to see, well, what else can I do?
Yeah, me too.
More can I add to my role? What's next?
Yeah. Excitement, it's sort of that adventure.
Yeah, because you want to take your learning to a next level and apply that into maybe the same organisation if there's opportunity to.
Yeah.
But what's next? So our guides to job searching is really individual. It depends what your drivers are, your motive, what you're looking for. So once you understand those three things and you've had that honest conversation with yourself, that will help. Things to be wary of, other drivers that might lead you to this decision might be salary bandings. We covered that in a previous episode, is understanding what is that? What does that mean?
Yeah.
For me, in big organisations, it's literally like a scale. So you have an entry level salary, and then you have the top level salary, and you are within a band, and they usually number or give a letter to these banding, banding B, for example. That means once you've achieved what you need to achieve through various performance reviews, checklist exercises, or even length of service, you've reached the top of that banding. There's nowhere for you to go unless your organisation is willing to put a business case together to go to head office or the powers that be and say, how can we extend this person outside of this salary banding?
Yeah.
That's personal.
That is personal.
So understanding where you fit within a salary banding and what the chances of ever getting that salary banding breached.
Yeah. Because it's difficult because you don't know what other people in your team has actually got the same salary, what banding they are, because it's not transparent. So that's a problem. It's not transparent. Some
dodgy area, isn't it?
Yeah, some clients don't like sharing that information.
So if you've done everything you can, you're stuck in a banding for administrative staff, for example, and you know there's more out there for you, and you've asked those questions, what can I do to get outside of that salary banding? I mean, you might go over it naturally with annual increments because you've been there years, but I mean, proper pay rise. Yeah. I don't mean the APR, the 1%, 2% that everyone gets naturally every year. That's not a pay rise. No. That's just a natural increment. So understand where you are in those bandings if that applies to your organisation. Am I restricted by a salary banding, or is it pretty much freed up? So there's a lot more autonomy there to go a bit further within the role. We could touch on salaries. It's so geographic as well.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk about salaries. You got to be comfortable with what you're
talking about.
When what you're earning is what you feel like you're worth.
Because sometimes people don't feel as worthy themselves until you get over that and you think, I deserve this.
Salaries are a bit of a minefield when it comes to this topic of discussion. It's so subjective, my favourite word. It really is personal. It's geographical.
Yeah.
Depends on the size of the organisation, the industry sector. Yeah, there's so many things. But I would say you need to be comfortable with what you're earning. Obviously, you're getting what you're worth. And don't be afraid to ask. If you're using an agency, set your boundaries when you're being presented with different opportunities. Don't let them override you with, well, I think you should go for that. You don't know what their motives are.
Exactly.
They might just be trying to get this filled or get the shortlist over to the client, and you need to accept this stupid salary because it makes them look better. Yeah. So be wary of that, because there are things that go on in recruitment. So I would say, first of all, though, let's backtrack. If you enlist in the help of an industry-specific recruiter, usually they already know the role inside out, where they can be in your corner.
Yeah.
And understand the wants and needs of their client, and almost give them a realistic approach to their search to say, well, I don't think you're actually going to get what you want for that salary. So they're going to be in your corner from day one.
But you need to sort out your CV. You need to list everything that you do. If you just say, oh, I do answering telephone, it doesn't give them much to work with.
CVs, it needs to be really on point. It needs to be specific to the job. Always tailor it. Don't use the same one over and over. Yeah. We're going back a step even further still. There's no hard and fast rule to CVs. It's whatever best represents you and what you're comfortable with. But listing your key achievements within a role rather than I answered the phone, I sort out emails, and I sort out the Christmas party.
Yeah.
What did you actually achieve? What were your accomplishments in that role?
Yeah.
High level, bullet points. It should be easy to digest, really hard hitting with the facts.
Yeah.
Of the
and
role.
Not 6-7 pages. As soon as you see that, they just bin it.
No, it used to be like one or two max.
Or 1 page double-sided.
Yeah. But I would say enlisting and helping a specialist recruitment rather than a general one. You might get more tailored answers that you're seeking.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a sort of an exec search EA, and then you would go to an agency or that specializes in that, because a lot of like EAs are in like law. So if you wanted to go into that, you will have to go to an agency that deals with law executive assistants, as you were saying, general ones. They're just anybody who puts their, CV forward would just get a job, which is not really what you want.
Don't be afraid to negotiate and to be upfront. I think it's far easier to have these conversations about salaries at the start.
Yeah. Because you're wasting everybody's time. You're like the final person going through for your interview. And so, well, this is not the salary I wanted. And then you pull out. It's just wasted everybody's time.
Yeah. And some salaries aren't even listed.
Yeah. What is that about? I mean,
I don't know.
We should get one of the agencies, a recruiter, contributing about why don't they have these salaries shown on the podcast.
To me, it's slightly negative and can be a waste of time, because the job description, as we discussed previously, can be all very samey, very high level. They don't distinguish what it is that makes this job application worthy of not displaying the salary. I need to know, because I need to know if it's a junior salary. I can guess, especially area dependent, of course if you know your geographical. If you know that information, the average salary of your role, I can guess and read between the lines to say, all right, this sounds like a junior role. The salary sounds junior. The years of experience, minimum experience, if it's like 2 years, 1 year, it sounds junior.
Yeah.
So we really need those displayed. It can waste everybody's time. But for me, the negative side of not displaying it makes me feel like they want to just see who they can get for as little as possible.
Yeah.
So they're waiting for you. It's a bit like a game of cards, isn't it? Like, well, what do you want? What are you looking for?
What are you looking for? Tell me your skills.
Well,
tell me your salary first, and I will tell you my skills.
You go first. And what you expect, and you think, I don't want to overshoot in case they say, hang on a minute. No, it's not that type of role.
Yeah.
And then you don't want to undervalue yourself, because it's difficult to come up from a figure that you've given, isn't it?
Yeah. And some people have sometimes a low opinion of themselves. They always think that they should have that much when they should be earning up here. So that's also another.
The gender pay gap is a big thing as well, and a big piece of work. So with all that said, my top tip here would be, don't be too worried about overshooting when you're saying what you want. If that's what you want, that's what you want.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to tell them, I need a minimum of this amount.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to walk away, because everyone that you walk away from, there's 10 more lined up.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's always something around the corner.
The Crowdy Files is brought to you by Autograph Events, our show sponsors. Autograph Events are the experts in providing a complete event management solution. From free global venue finding through to full on-site event management, executive away days, team building and off-site meetings, they can help us plan it all. They offer that extra pair of hands, a bit like the assistant's assistant. The best part is they understand how we like to work. They understand our role. So for more information, email events@autograph-events.co.uk, quoting Crowdy Files 2023 to find out how they can help you plan your next event and for your personal reward. Terms and conditions apply. Please see our website, craigandjody.com.
So we have a listener's question. This listener's question remains to be anonymous.
Come take my hand, I will walk with you. I won't let go till you say so.
Hi Grady. I'm event planning for our office festive get-together. I am quite used to the myriad of tasks involved and always pull it off nicely, but it is becoming trickier to coordinate, especially when I'm on my own. Do you have any suggestions, please?
Thank you for that listener question. It is one that we get again and again, quite often actually. Yeah, it's part of our role. It's part of our daily task. Organising events, it is tricky. So to answer this question, we are very pleased to introduce to you Flow Hancox. She is Director of Autograph Events, also our main show sponsor, and she will give you her top tips in event organising.
Hi there, Crowdy Files. This is Flow Hancox from Autograph Events. I'm the sales director here. Autograph Events are a full-service event management and venue finding agency So we work globally to help our clients with finding venues for their events, big or small, event management on site, and helping with incentives, team building and conferencing. I'd love to help answer your listeners' question. There's some top tips, I guess, to really prioritise when you start looking at organising an event. And I think the thing to think about is no two events are the same for you or a venue that you're going to. So firstly, the preferred type of venue or fixed date, which is your priority? If you've got a fixed date, that tends to make things a little easier because you can go out to a range of venues and you get their availability straight away. And that almost narrows the field down for you and gives you a short list. If the preferred type of venue is quite specific, or maybe you actually just need to have a look at lots of different types, not having a fixed date then makes things a wider field for you. You can go out, see lots of different types of offerings. So it might be conference centres, it might be restaurants and bars, hotels, and they all offer very different surroundings for your event. It really depends what type of event you're trying to put on. If it's an office get-together, then maybe it's a bit more social, a bit more networky rather than a conference and quite formal. So maybe you'd be looking for something more like a restaurant, a bar area in a hotel. They offer fantastic surroundings and there's some fabulous locations available to you. Once you've got your date or your venue preference and you've got the list of venues that have got availability for you, then obviously you need to shortlist. Now this might be on budget. I think at the beginning, definitely have a budget in mind before you go out to venues or before you go and see venues as well, because it might be that you fall in love with this venue of your dreams and actually the budget just doesn't stretch to it, and that's really disappointing and can be quite disheartening. So have a budget in mind and then you know what is available to you. And budgets are also good for the venue because the venue can then work towards what you're looking for and you're looking to put on. Once you've been to see them and you understand the spaces that are available to you and that you like and that tick the boxes for what you're trying to offer, then ask for terms and conditions, contracts, and check that you're happy with those terms and conditions. And when payments need to be made, do they fit with how you make payments? If you're on longer payment terms, will they negotiate? That's something to sort of have the conversation up front first, because there's nothing worse than kind of getting way down the line and actually they don't adhere to your payment terms or you can't work to theirs. I think then obviously get your date in the diary for people. So if that's save a date quite early on, and then start coordinating things like dietary requirements, final numbers. You know, are there specific menu options that you want, specific drinks behind the bar? Do the venues need certain details from you that maybe you need to get up front and ahead of for them? And then I would say, with regards to kind of larger numbers, there's software out there that can help you coordinate all of those details. And again, it's all very bespoke. No two events are the same. And there are a lot of options out there for you in terms of coordinating that. We can help with that at Autograph, or you can do it in-house with, I don't know, maybe Excel forms, that kind of thing. I think the thing to think about is the coordination, have a timeline for when the venue needs details from you and have a timeline for when you need to deliver this event, and then just kind of tick things off as you go. We can save you legwork, time and money with the venue finding part of kind of the process really. It does save the legwork. It means that we can then produce it in one easy to read proposal. You can shortlist for that and then we will organise site visits for you. But it's very much kind of how much you want help or need coordination with.
My top tip will be take care of yourself. I think job searching can be stressful, so it's important to take the process in small pieces and take it slowly. Don't rush into it. and then end up in a new job like within a month and a half and decide, oh, this is not what I wanted. Yeah.
And have those difficult conversations. Learn your conversational skills. Brush up on your negotiation skills.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Don't be afraid. If you're not feeling you're there yet in having those difficult conversations, maybe try a few online courses. Most of them are free. You don't always have to pay for these things, to be honest. You get a lot of free resources.
Or use your networking. Networking is great. People know. Now, I know somebody who knows somebody. Always helps.
This is our life, isn't it? Yeah, we have we love our network. We love our listeners because as soon as we ask something, we know we're going to get so many answers back.
Definitely.
And likewise, it's never one way.
Never.
We're always sharing knowledge or tips, contacts. So don't be afraid to say, can I have a practice conversation with you? I want to brush up on my confidence. I want to go into this interview and say, I'm looking for this. Your job description screams this figure to me. That's what I feel that you are pitching at salary-wise.
Yeah.
And be prepared to walk away and say, okay, thank you for your time, and move on. Understanding what your drivers are to move on. If it's those nasty ones we spoke about at the beginning, don't hang around too long.
Get out.
And remember, you are not a tree. We've seen this so many times on LinkedIn. You are not a tree. You don't have roots. You can get up and leave your desk, leave the company.
Yeah.
Get out of there. Understand your worth. Back up what you're saying, what you need. What do you need to support your life at home, your responsibilities? What do you need? Don't be afraid. Don't be a tree.
Yeah.
So we've come to the end of episode 3. This has been a really interesting one.
It has been difficult.
It's difficult to stay high level because you can really go into some personal experiences that we just can't go there. But it's really interesting, and it all depends on you. Be open to new opportunities for sure. Understand what drives you. Where do you want to go?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to negotiate.
I agree.
Your one was take care of yourself. That's a really nice one.
Yeah.
My mantra that I've been using recently, and to remind myself, network. Learn. Grow.
Exactly.
Networking really helps.
It's like iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another.
Oh, like that. Never heard of that.
Never.
Say it again.
As iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you say it in Zulu? Craig also speaks Zulu, by the way. Just throwing that one in there. Network. Use your network. Use your support. As a community, as a profession, we are highly reactive to when one of us needs advice and help.
Support. Yeah.
Just reach out. And if you have any questions for us, please send them in. Check out the website and scroll to the bottom. You can submit your high Crody questions there. They can be anonymous. They can be read out by yourself. Don't be afraid to ask. We've got loads already. So we look forward to receiving them. Thank you for listening. It's been a great episode, and we look forward to receiving your questions and emails. You're not alone, and keep sharing that knowledge.
In our next episode, we shall be discussing an administrative assistance guide to using new tech. I'm Craig Bryson.
And I'm Jodie Mears.
And together, we are the Crody Files.
This episode was brought to you by Autograph Events, our sponsor.